Good morning. My name's David Birdsall and I'm a local preacher in the Doncaster Methodist Circuit. Welcome to our daily devotions on the 28th of February on the Doncaster Methodist Circuit YouTube channel. I'm an avid reader about books about exploration, mountaineering, expeditions, etc. Books about people like Scott and Amundsen and Shackleton. It all began when a few years ago, 2009, I did a trek with a friend to Everest Base Camp, and I've been to Nepal a couple of times since then. One of the stories that always comes to mind, it is my favourite, is that of Sir Ernest Shackleton's expedition to the Antarctic in 1914. The object of the expedition was to cross from one side of Antarctic via the South Pole to the other side. They spent the winter there, and eventually their ship was crushed by the ice and it sank. So there they were, stranded. Although they got food and tents, they were stranded on ice floes, and they survived on eating penguin and seal, etc. On the ice floes, they drift with the tides, and over a period of several months, they drifted further and further north until they actually came to open water with very, very little ice. They had with them, and they helped to drag them across the ice, 3 rowing boats, quite large rowing boats. And they got into the rowing boats, all 54 men, and they rigged up sails, and they sailed to an island called Elephant Island, and this took several weeks. When they got to Elephant Island, they knew that it was unoccupied. So what they did, they left 48 men there to survive, and 6 of them got into a boat and they sailed and rowed to an island called South Georgia. Now that was 800 miles in an open boat through tremendous seas and hurricane force winds. And they finally made land on South Georgia, only to find that the whaling station, which was occupied on the island, was on the other side of the island, which meant climbing over the mountains, some of which were over 9,000 feet. Well, they actually made it over the mountains, as you may well know. 3 of them decided to climb over the mountains, and that was Shackleton, Worsley and Crean. Worsley said, and I quote his words here and I'll read them directly: "The Norwegians told us that if we had attempted the crossing starting a day earlier, we would have died. The day we were on the highest point was the finest day of the winter. Providence certainly looked after us. 3 to 4 weeks later, Sir Ernest and I were comparing notes, and we discovered that both of us felt that there was a 4th member of our party as we climbed over the mountains to safety. And Crean afterwards confessed to the same feeling." It's like that story of footprints, when the person could only see one set of footprints in the sand at difficult times in their life, only to find out that that was when God was carrying him. And it makes you think, doesn't it, how God brings about such feelings in people when they are in peril. In my recent training as a local preacher, our services were sometimes assessed, and one of the questions which was asked was, where in the service were you aware of the presence of God? Some would say in the hymns, some in the prayers, some in the sermon, or even some in the silence. Ask a group of people to assess a service and you probably find out that you've got different answers to the question. Because God speaks to us all in different ways. But the important thing to remember is that God does speak to us. And we always need to be prepared to listen and to act upon his message. I want finally just for you to listen to the words of hymn 161, the first verse. It's in Singing the Faith. And I'm going to use this as a closing prayer. Speak, O Lord, as we come to you to receive the food of your holy word. Take your truth, plant it deep in us, shape and fashion us in your likeness, that the light of Christ may be seen today in our acts of love and our deeds of faith. Speak, O Lord, and fulfill in us all your purposes for your glory. Amen. Well, I'll be here again tomorrow doing the daily devotions for the rest of this week. So if you've enjoyed that, I look forward to speaking to you tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great day and God bless. Bye.